Before the Islamic Revolution of 1979, Iran and Israel maintained a surprisingly cordial relationship. The Shah of Iran, Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, saw Israel as a strategic ally in the Middle East. This alliance was rooted in shared security concerns and a common enemy in the form of pan-Arabism. Israel, for its part, viewed Iran as a valuable partner in the region, a counterweight to the Arab states that opposed its existence. The two countries engaged in extensive economic and military cooperation. Israel provided Iran with weapons, technology, and intelligence sharing. Iranian oil flowed to Israel, helping to fuel its growing economy. This partnership thrived despite the ongoing Israeli-Palestinian conflict, which the Shah generally viewed as a secondary concern. However, beneath the surface of this alliance lay simmering tensions. The Shah's regime, while pro-Western, faced growing domestic opposition. Many Iranians, particularly those with strong religious convictions, opposed the close ties with Israel. They viewed Israel as an illegitimate state and a symbol of Western imperialism in the Middle East. The Palestinian cause resonated deeply with many Iranians, who saw parallels between the Palestinian struggle for self-determination and their own struggle against the Shah's authoritarian rule. As the Shah's regime weakened in the 1970s, these underlying tensions began to surface, setting the stage for a dramatic shift in the relationship between Iran and Israel. The Islamic Revolution of 1979 marked a turning point in the Middle East and irrevocably altered the relationship between Iran and Israel. The revolution, led by Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini, toppled the Shah's regime and established the Islamic Republic of Iran. The new government, guided by a strict interpretation of Islamic law and a deep-seated antipathy towards Israel, quickly severed all ties with the Jewish state. The revolution's impact extended far beyond Iran's borders. It inspired a wave of Islamic revivalism across the region, challenging the existing order and fueling the rise of Islamist movements. The new Iranian leadership, deeply suspicious of the West and its allies in the region, sought to export its revolution and counter what it perceived as Western hegemony. Israel, once a close partner of Iran, was now branded as an enemy, a usurper of Muslim land, and a tool of Western imperialism. The rhetoric emanating from Tehran was fiercely anti-Israel, often employing anti-Semitic tropes and calling for the destruction of the Jewish state. This ideological hostility, coupled with Iran's support for anti-Israel militant groups, laid the foundation for a decades-long proxy conflict that would engulf the region. In the aftermath of the Islamic Revolution, Iran actively sought to support and cultivate allies across the Middle East, particularly among Shia Muslim communities. One of the most significant outcomes of this strategy was the emergence of Hezbollah in Lebanon. Founded in the early 1980s with Iranian support, Hezbollah rapidly evolved into a powerful political and military force, committed to the destruction of Israel. Iran provided Hezbollah with extensive financial, logistical, and military support, including training, weapons, and funding. This backing enabled Hezbollah to establish a formidable military infrastructure in southern Lebanon, from where it launched attacks against Israel. Hezbollah's ideology aligned closely with that of Iran, viewing Israel as an illegitimate entity and advocating for its elimination. Hezbollah's emergence as a significant force in Lebanon added a new layer of complexity to the Iran-Israel conflict. It transformed the conflict from a largely bilateral one into a multifaceted regional struggle, with Lebanon serving as a key battleground. Hezbollah's attacks on Israel, and Israel's subsequent responses often destabilized Lebanon and drew the country further into the vortex of the Iran-Israel rivalry. Israel, facing an increasingly hostile and assertive Iran, adopted a multi-pronged strategy to counter the perceived threat. This strategy involved a combination of covert operations, targeted assassinations, cyber attacks, and diplomatic efforts aimed at isolating Iran on the international stage. A central focus of Israel's efforts has been to thwart Iran's nuclear ambitions, which Israel views as an existential threat. Israel has consistently accused Iran of seeking to develop nuclear weapons, a charge Iran vehemently denies. To impede Iran's nuclear program, Israel has reportedly carried out a series of covert operations, including sabotage of Iranian nuclear facilities and assassinations of Iranian nuclear scientists. These actions, often attributed to Israel but rarely officially acknowledged, have significantly hampered Iran's nuclear program, but have also escalated tensions and fueled the cycle of violence. Beyond targeting Iran's nuclear program, Israel has also sought to counter Iran's growing regional influence. This has involved supporting groups opposed to Iranian-backed forces in Syria, striking Iranian targets in Syria to prevent the transfer of weapons to Hezbollah, and working to expose and disrupt Iranian arms shipments to its allies.